Hello, everyone. I am Brianna Foulds, Senior Director of Talent Acquisition at Cornerstone. I'm joined here today by our CEO founder, Adam Miller, and we are coming to you live from sunny Santa Monica and celebrating our 20-year anniversary.
Thanks, Bri. It's great to be here.
So now that I've got you in the hot seat, I can ask you some of those burning questions that I've had. And a while ago, a little birdie told me that after you graduated college, you decided to expand your global knowledge by taking a trip around the world. And when you came back, you were inspired and had this idea of Cornerstone. Can you tell me how that led to where we are today?
Yeah, I mean, it even started back in business school before I went on my trip, which was this idea that you could take technology and use it to help educate people around the world. And so when I took that trip, I realized that a lot of people around the world needed access to education. They just didn't have it. And as much as a student feels like they have too much school, adults often feel like they don't get enough schooling, they don't have enough education, and it's very clearly, I see in 2000, before we had time to really raise money, the bubble had burst. So it went from being one of the greatest times to start a company to one of the worst possible times to start a company.
When you're looking back at that time, when you started Cornerstone, cloud-based software was not common. It was
there's
new.
No such thing.
Yeah, it was new. So what made you decide to do that and start with that? And then how has that innovation influenced us as we've continued our product going forward?
Yeah, so the genius wasn't having a vision about the future of the software market. The reality is, when the company first started, we wanted to educate adults. So we were going to do it at home as consumers, inside of small businesses, and adults that were part of large corporations. And the first thing we started with was the at home as individuals. So we built a website. So the first developers we had were all web developers. So when we pivoted after the bubble burst to focus entirely on the enterprise, what we didn't realize was that our web developers were building that software over the web. And so that's how they learned to create software. And as we added more and more capabilities, we were doing it over the web, using web developers. It wasn't until much later that people started calling this on-demand software. And then ultimately the market caught up, right? 2005, Salesforce went public. 2007, the market continued to grow and expand, and more people understood cloud computing and the benefits of it. And today, almost all software is in the cloud. And so while we were a pioneer, we didn't set out to be a pioneer. We just figured it out along the way.
So I have a lot of great memories from my time here at Cornerstone. Pitbull, bring your kids to work day, bring your parents to work day, Bond Me at the corner. What are some of your favorite memories over the last 20 years?
Oh, I have a lot of memories. A lot of my favorite memories were the early days.
Yeah.
When it was sort of a handful of us that were trying to figure it out. We often talk about the band of brothers. In the beginning, Kirsten was part of that, but there were really just a few of us who were trying to find our way. We didn't have a lot of capital. We didn't have experience with technology. We didn't have experience in software. We didn't have experience selling to other businesses. Nobody had experience in cloud computing, but we figured it out. Yeah. And there was a lot of trial and error. There were a lot of mistakes, but we had a lot of fun along the way.
We've been talking about our memories, and I'd like to show you some images and some pictures of these memories that you may have. And what I'd like to do is just show you the image, and then we can just say whatever's on our mind.
All right. I'm a little nervous.
Here we go. Thank you. When was this? How long did it last? And can we bring it back?
Wow, that was after college. That was probably during grad school. And yes, I had much longer hair. I grew up in Jersey, as you could tell from that picture. Flannels were in, and that's how I lived my life for a while.
Okay, how about this one? Convergence.
That was our very first Convergence conference, and that's Kim Hagen in the picture. She was our second client ever at Aon, and was one of our most vocal clients and supporters, but also critics.
Yeah.
And so we had a really interesting relationship with our clients in the very beginning where they would constantly be pushing us for more, more, more. At the same time, they were great supporters and coaches in what was happening. And so we decided that ultimately the best way to get her to stop pushing us was to hire her. And so Kim still works for us today.
All right, how about this one? Literally.
Wow, that is the fakest headshot.
It's the,
I don't know what that's a picture
the
of.
90s are calling, and they want their 3 for $2.99 suits back.
Well, also check out that cell phone.
Oh, it's amazing.
People often ask when I meet with clients or I'm talking at tech conferences, they say, oh, is anything really different since you started the company? Yeah, everything is totally different. There were no smartphones. No. That was super progressive that I had a cell phone. And that was back when to get the cell phone to work, you had to pull up the antenna.
Which one's your favorite?
I still love the very original CyberU logo. We had a woman in New York create the logo for us. We didn't have any money, so we paid her with warrants. Those became worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And she wrote me years later and said, thank you so much. We just bought a house because of that logo.
What a great story.
Yeah, so it was pretty
That's
cool.
Wonderful. How does it feel looking back on this after 20 years? Your IPO and your team there.
Yeah, it was just an amazing day. I mean, the entire experience was incredible. And if you go public on the NASDAQ, they actually control the billboards in Times Square. Mm-hmm. And so they'll flash up the company, ads about the company, and then your pictures. So there are giant billboard with a picture of me ringing the bell. Really, you push the button at the NASDAQ, you don't ring the bell. But doing the opening bell in the morning, that's a picture of me, Perry, and Steven. Just incredible to be there. We brought our parents, and it was just an incredible experience. It was kind of our graduation party. For the company.
It's our 20-year milestone, and we wouldn't have been able to do this without our clients, those who kind of like the Kim Hagans of the world. They inspire us, they push us, they teach us and help us grow every day. When I went to my first convergence, I was really impressed at the relationship between the CSMs and our clients and how the CSMs were just like these excited, raving fans for our clients. And in your perspective, what excites you about some of the things that our clients are doing with our product?
I love when the clients are successful. I mean, one of the things I loved early on, we figured out that the client that was responsible for buying Cornerstone, so literally the person that was the executive sponsor or the project owner of Cornerstone within their company, almost always got promoted within a year or two of deploying Cornerstone. And so that was really exciting for us, right? Yeah. That meant that it was working. It was really successful. The other thing that was maybe most impactful from my perspective was enabling mobility in these companies. So it was very typical, particularly during boom times, that if a company needed somebody for a new role, they would go out and just post a job rec and hire somebody from the outside. Mm-hmm. And what we found is a lot of our clients, because they had much better visibility about who the employees were, what skills they had, what training they've done, what kind of certifications they had, enabled companies to have a much better view into the employee base outside of the people who worked in their office, on their floor, and really be able to look at the entire organization globally. And that meant much more internal recruiting, much more mobility in the organization, many more promotions for the employees themselves. Yeah. And I think just a much better working relationship between the company and their team members. And that was really exciting. That was something that we always have tried to do at Cornerstone internally, and I always talk to our clients about, but then seeing the clients really start doing that for their own people is pretty incredible.
Yeah. You are a learner. You started a learning company. You have 3 degrees, I think also CPA. You tend to immerse yourself into this, and even in giving back, you really have passion for it. Are there any examples of some things that you've done where you've immersed yourself in a client experience?
Yeah, I mean, some of our clients, so I've had the fortune of being able to go see the clients in action in many cases. So I've gotten to visit a lot of corporate universities, which often are in beautiful locations, beautiful facilities where they fly people in. So we've got to experience that firsthand. I remember early on, Turner was one of our clients, and they brought us in to TBS, got a studio tour, have pictures where they do the NBA reporting. One of the coolest experiences I've ever had, certainly a bucket list item, was Ventura County Fire Department actually brought a few of us out to do training as a fireman. And so literally had the real training, suited up, brought out, taught how to manage the hose, operate in a fire situation, and got to deal with burning buildings. And literally I personally put out a car on fire. It was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, which was incredible. And then even on the nonprofit side, through our work with the foundation, I met the founders of Team Rubicon, fell in love with the incredible impact they're having, using veterans to do humanitarian aid, sort of a dual impact of giving purpose to veterans while helping people around the world when they respond to disasters, and became very involved with them and have been chair of the board for many years now, as Team Rubicon went from 500 volunteers to over 100,000 volunteers as part of that organization. So it's been incredible how I've been able to be with the clients and work with the clients and see them in action and understand the real impact that we have to those organizations. For Team Rubicon, we're a really important part of how they manage that volunteer base. For Ventura County, we are a real important way of how they're making sure their people are continuously trained and up to date and remember how to respond to particular situations so that they could stay safe. And so we get to see what we do in action, and that's a really cool thing.
That's amazing. Did you drink from the fire hose?
I did over the years, but not. You do not actually want to drink from a fire hose.
A little dangerous.
A little much.
What I love about my job is that I am not only an employee of Cornerstone, but I'm also a client. We use the recruiting tool every day and other products every day in what we do. So as an eager and excited client, anything exciting you want to share with us?
Yeah, we're working on some really cool things, leveraging machine learning, leveraging artificial intelligence, and leveraging the massive data set that we have now. So we've collected data now for 45 million people. We've been doing this for 2 decades. We have an enormous amount of data. Last year, in the last 12 months, delivered over 600 million online courses to people around the world. So we've been able to take what we learn from that data and use it to create even better tools. So we're working on being able to map positions to skills and capabilities to training so that we have the ability to help you, for example, in recruiting, understand what are the particular skills you need, and is there anybody internally that could fill that role, maybe not from an obvious position, but someone in a different part of the organization that's not intuitive that could be a perfect fit for a job. Being able to help you assess somebody coming in, and then in onboarding, being able to identify where they might have gaps in skills to be really effective at their job, getting them the exact training they need through Content Anytime or through the vast array of partnerships and training that we have and our clients have, and then being able to use that to accelerate people's careers inside the company. So there's a lot we're working on. Our roadmaps are always full. I remember back in 2007, I thought we were about 6 months till we were done with learning. I realized how dumb that was now. because it's been many years later, and we have an almost infinite roadmap of things that we want to do and opportunities we want to create for people, because we're so enmeshed in what's happening. We're doing this not just for employees generally, but also specifically, right? We're in every vertical, we're in every geography, and so we're able to meet the needs of particular industries, particular countries, and particular sectors, which allows us to be pretty effective at what we do and allows our clients to really get the most out of what we're providing, to help them realize the potential of their people.
Yeah, good. Ding, 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 ding. Do you know what that is?
No.
That's our rapid fire round.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I'm just going to ask you questions and then you respond rapidly.
Yes.
Here we go. Fact or fiction? Fiction. Is it true you've ridden a mechanical bull?
Many times.
How many? What is your favorite pizza topping?
None.
None.
Margarita.
Margarita, okay. Favorite Cornerstone hackathon tool or product?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
The one we're doing now, which is Cornerstone for Slack, and then we're going to apply it to Teams and Workplace and many other tools to embed Cornerstone in the flow of work.
Yeah, that's great. Favorite go-to karaoke song? I'm sure it's AC/DC maybe?
Yeah, they always play AC/DC, but my go-to karaoke song, especially if I'm singing with Beth, is Friends in Low Places.
Oh, that's a good one. What would you do if you weren't Cornerstone's CEO?
That's a good question. Probably run a nonprofit.
Very good. How many times have you fired yourself?
Twice.
Best advice your mom ever gave you?
Best advice my mom ever gave me. Keep learning.
Keep learning. That's a good one. Do you know how to open a bottle of champagne?
With a sword.
You do? You know how to say? No, I have one here. I don't have a sword, though. So I guess just the kind of to sum all this up, what can we look forward to? What do you foresee for the next 20 years? Our Cornerstars, our employees, our clients, what can they look forward to?
I mean, we're in technology, so it's impossible to predict what the technology is going to be 20 years from now. We probably won't be using applications the way we use them today. We'll just talk to the machine, the way you talk to Alexa in the morning. And the world's going to be a very different place. I could be assured of that. I think what we're doing has become much more important today than it was even when we started the company. Today, it went from nice to have to must have. Technology is changing so fast now, and the skills that people need have such a short half-life now that people have to keep learning. It's no longer optional. And so I view what we're doing today is much more important even than when we started 20 years ago, which is very rare for a company to be more relevant than when they started. But we're in a world where the entire global workforce is going to be reskilled over the next 5 years. Needs to be reskilled over the next 5 years. And we are in the best position of any company in the world to do that. So it's a really exciting time and place to be here.
All right, I am going to let you open this. I'm going to grab us some cups.
It is much more fun to do this with a sword. For you also know, as a bartender for many years. So if I couldn't get a job, see, you asked, what would I do if I wasn't CEO? But what I probably would have had to keep doing if I never became CEO was bartend, which is what I did through college. And
there you go. Nice. Perfect.
Well, I just want to say thank you for an amazing ride. I know there were so many people that have been part of this, whether it was the early investors and advisors or all of our clients over the years, but especially our team. You know, the other people at Cornerstone who helped make this happen, helped be part of this journey in good times and bad, and help us get to where we are today and have the impact that we've been able to have on the world. I really appreciate that. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you for joining me today.
Great time.
Yay! That was awesome. Good job. Thank you.